Welcome to Monday, my friends. I'm meteorologist Andrew Humphrey. Winter still wants to hang on. Slippery weather, including some snowflakes earlier today. Now some chilly rain. I'll track it all for you with Storm Tracker 4, and I've got your weather forecast first at 4.
We're on verdict watch in the trial of 4 men accused of plotting to kidnap Governor Whitmer. We'll talk about a question the jury has just asked the judge. President Biden is blasting Vladimir Putin once again. You'll hear the president's first public comments about shocking new claims of civilian atrocities in Ukraine. And here's Paula.
Hi there. Money, 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 money. $500 million up for grabs from the federal government. I'll show you how Michigan schools can get in line to get some of that cash. These stories and more are happening right now on Local 4 First at 4.
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
And a happy April 4th to all of you, and why not celebrate with a spring snow shower? I know it looks like that's, the snow that you see when you turn the channel 62 or whatever, but no, that's actually snow on our downtown tower cam earlier this afternoon. Disheartening, of course, for those of us patiently waiting for those spring-like temps, but it's also now slightly concerning for the evening commute. Andrew Humphrey here with the first forecast. Hey, Andrew.
Hey there, Jason, and you make an excellent point. Fortunately, now temperatures are high enough where we're seeing chilly rain coming down, but we're still looking at slippery conditions across all of southeast Michigan. Where's the precipitation coming down? Well, mainly in these areas of green, north of Detroit, but still here in southeast Michigan, including the Port Huron area, also in Sanilac County. You can see that here on Storm Tracker 4, so anywhere from Crosswell over to Lakeport, also around Peck. Still a little wet out there, but not much in the way of frozen precipitation because we've seen temperatures climb above freezing. Sure, it's still chilly out, but 40 degrees, that's 8 degrees above the freezing mark. Now, it feels like it's around freezing with cloudy skies and a wind at 14 miles per hour. And those winds out of the south-southwest will keep our temperatures above freezing throughout the rest of the evening. This is key. It means wet conditions on area roads for the ride home instead of frozen ones. We'll talk more about temperatures, another chance of precipitation later this week in your full weather forecast.
All right, Andrew. No verdict thus far in the trial of 4 men accused of plotting to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer. The jury began deliberating this morning. We didn't hear much for hours until suddenly they asked the judge a question. Local 4's Sean Lay is outside the federal courthouse in Grand Rapids for us. And Sean, what did the jurors exactly want to know here?
Jason, I just came out of the courtroom, and the jury sent the judge a question, very simple question, that said, what is the definition of a weapon? Now, first, the judge brought in defense attorneys and prosecutors. They all do agree on the legal definition of a weapon out of a legal dictionary, and that legal definition is any instrument that is designed to do harm or kill. And then the jury was brought in, and the judge added harm or kill and do property damage or destroy something. That goes because 3 of these men are charged with conspiracy to use a weapon of mass destruction. It was alleged that they were making an IED to target a bridge near Governor Whitmer's summer home. The jury got their answer. They went right back in, and they continue to deliberate right now.
Sean, last week we heard the jury would be deliberating until about 5 p.m. each day. Does that seem to be still on track for today?
We think that is how the judge is framing this. If they're going to go to 5 o'clock and if they're not close to a verdict, Jason, then he will likely send them home. We'll have to wait until 5 o'clock to see if that is the case, or if they're close, we have to see if they're going to press through the 5 o'clock hour.
Yeah, all eyes on that courtroom for sure. Sean, we'll see you at 5.
That's right.
Firefighters in Southfield trying to figure out how a fire started this morning that tore through the roof of an apartment building here. The call came in around 8 a.m. from the Cranbrook Center Apartments on Southfield Road between 12 and 13 Mile Roads. Multiple units from surrounding cities joined this fight with 35 firefighters on the scene. Everyone inside the 8 residential units were able to get out safely, but they now need somewhere else to stay. We're also tracking a house fire in Dearborn. A source telling us it's being investigated as a possible arson. Fire crews say no one was inside the home on Oakman and Tyerman this morning. We will keep you posted as we learn more about that. The next time you head to Detroit Metro Airport, it won't be to either the McNamara or North Terminals. No, today the airport's North Terminal has officially been renamed the Warren C. Evans Terminal. The airport's board of directors voted to rename the terminal last June in honor of the Wayne County executive, Warren Evans. Airport officials say signage will be modified throughout the airport as well as on the roads. In Washington, the Supreme Court nomination of Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson could be confirmed by the end of the week. Today, the Senate Judiciary Committee started debating her nomination, but ran into a surprising delay with this. Devin Skillion's in the newsroom for us on this. Devin?
Jason, we'll talk about that delay here in a second. The biggest question this morning was whether Judge Jackson might get any Republican support at this stage in the process. The Judiciary Committee is split with 11 Democrats and 11 Republicans. The debate started this morning. It comes after the judge faced more than 30 hours of hearings and interrogations. Even if the committee should deadlock, her nomination would move to the full Senate, but it would take a little longer to make that happen. So far, the debate has not indicated any bipartisan support.
Throughout the hearing, Judge Jackson demonstrated her command of the law and her reverence for the Constitution. Judge Jackson, in fact, as we know, has more judicial experience than 4 of the nominees and now justices had when they came before this committee.
Someone of her impressive caliber surely has a judicial philosophy, but maybe she just didn't want to talk about it. I will vote no.
The delay we're tracking has to do with a senator from California, Democrat Alex Padilla, was on a flight to D.C. that had to be turned back because of another passenger's medical emergency. The senator's new flight due to arrive in Washington, in fact, right about now. Because the committee is evenly divided, his vote is a critical one. So an update on where things stand when you join us tonight for Local 4 News at 5.
Yeah.
Jason, back to you.
Interesting. All right, Devin, we'll see you at 5. President Joe Biden now says Russia's Vladimir Putin should face a war crimes trial. You may have seen the video coming out of the town of Bucha now, which is outside the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv. There are reports from media of a mass grave being discovered there. Ukraine's president says dead civilians have been found in barrels, in basements, strangled and tortured. Moscow is accusing Ukraine of staging the horrific scenes, arguing the claims took a few days to emerge. Germany has expelled 40 Russian envoys, and Western allies are said to be working on further measures. President Biden had this to say about Vladimir Putin today.
He is a war criminal, but we have to gather the information. We have to continue to provide Ukraine with the weapons they need to continue the fight, and we have to gather all the detail so this can be have a war crime trial. This guy is brutal.
The president also told reporters he plans to hit Russia with more sanctions, and those would be announced soon. Another flood of federal dollars to build better schools was just launched with some help from Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm. We spoke to the former Michigan governor about a $500 million grant program. Paula Tutman is live in Troy for us tonight, looking at what that program would mean for Michigan. Hi, Paul.
Hey, Jason. So here's the thing. This, as you said, $500 million grant announced by the Biden-Harris administration today. And basically what it boils down to is you're going to have school districts who will be able to phrase a question, and they'll say, hey, we've got good news and good news. Which one do you want first? So new, individual districts have barely had a moment to take a look. But Robert McCann, the executive director of the K-12 Alliance, which represents more than half the students and staff in Michigan in 114 school districts, says if there's money out there for school infrastructure, they will make sure districts figure out how to apply, how to receive, and how to use it.
We're one of only, I believe it's 8 states that does not, as a state, fund school infrastructure projects. We rely solely on local bonds and millages to fund those types of activities. So the reality is, in Michigan, we are decades behind where we should be in terms of funding school infrastructure.
The plan announced today a $500 million grant program through the Action Plan for Building Better Schools. The idea is to upgrade public schools with modern, clean, energy-efficient facilities and transportation, with an eye towards creating a path towards lower energy costs for districts, better air quality for students and staff, and reducing the carbon footprint. The grant comes out of the Department of Energy, and it just so happens the Energy Secretary knows quite a bit about Michigan schools, as Secretary Jennifer Granholm is the former Michigan governor.
You know, I think about, for example, the kids who were being taught band in the boiler room just because there wasn't a physical space for them, or the kids who are suffering through ridiculously hot summers without any air conditioning or ridiculously cold winters, and they've got to come in all bundled up. that just should not happen.
This money is actually icing in a lot of ways because of COVID-19, ESSER funding, and a boon to education funding from the Michigan legislature. Many districts had already started amping up filtration and HVAC systems.
When we have additional money coming in to help with the physical structure of the buildings, what's available in the buildings, we're going to want to take advantage of that.
This is all part of the bipartisan infrastructure law and American Rescue Plan.
There are districts in the state, especially districts that are under-resourced, that are poor districts that need more help. And so we want to be there as an arm to be able to help them.
Okay, so what happens right now is it's really an information gathering period. I guess you could say they want schools, or the administration wants schools to weigh in to help them frame the grants, and then they'll actually be able to apply for the grants. When I say they, I mean the school districts apply for the grants sometime this summer. I'm a reporter. I got to give you the small bit of bad news, and that is some of these school districts that they've had the money to spend on infrastructure. Because of supply and demand and no workers, they're not even able to spend the money they have. Jason?
Yeah, that is the downside. All right, Paula, thank you.